Good afternoon, everyone. Jonathan Davis here with Davis Autosports. Very excited to offer you guys a absolutely gorgeous 2004 Lexus GX470. This truck has just over 80,000 original and documented miles. It's absolutely gorgeous inside and out. If you're unfamiliar with us here at Davis Autosports, please go to our website, davisautosports.com. The GX470 is one of the vehicles that we specialize in. In doing so, we just don't buy every GX that we come across. For everyone that we have in stock, we probably passed on 5 to 10 to get that one. We seek out the cleanest, nicest examples we can possibly find. It doesn't stop there. We bring them into our, as you see in the background, 30,000 square foot reconditioning and restoration facility. And we use that practice on even vehicles that we sell, in addition to restoring clients' vehicles. I would probably say that this is the nicest one on the market. We typically know what's out there. We just sold one last week in 09 with 27,000 miles. If you go to our site, you'll see every GX that we've ever sold is in absolutely beautiful condition. We sell rust-free, fully serviced GXs. Now, starting off with the outside, this thing was already in phenomenal condition. There was no damage, but if you're familiar with Toyota and Lexus products, for some reason, on all their plastic pieces, they have a tendency to fade. Dating back to the late 90s Camrys, it was an issue. They may have that under control now. I don't deal with new Lexuses, so I don't know, but I can't tell you how many GXs that we've had to do what I'm about to tell you to make them perfect. And this is something that didn't have to get done, but we try to bring to market the nicest trucks out there. So this is what we do. So what has a tendency to happen is the top of all the plastic all the way around the truck has a little bit of fading. Now, we could have easily got away with a little polish and putting some silicone product on it to get it to pop, and you would have never known about it. It still would have been a little bit rough texture-wise, but what we ended up doing, and once again, it's a common thing that we do, and we ended up repainting the entire bottom of this truck. Now, it all didn't need it, but when you're doing a color like this, the last thing you want to do is to do this panel and this panel, skip that panel, do that panel. It's nonsense. It's not the right way to do it. We are a restoration facility, so we don't try to skimp on cost or time. We try to make the best product possible, and that's what you're getting. So I'm going to go ahead and show you everything that we did. And in doing so, we don't paint any of this stuff on the truck. All of this stuff comes off. It gets prepped. It gets primed, sanded down, base coated, clear coated, cured, reassembled. So this isn't just tape lines all over the truck and overspray and everything else. It's done the right way. Full bumper painted, fender flare, all the side plating, all completely done. Rear fender flare, going all the way around. We're not going to stop there, so full rear bumper, and same thing on this side. Every single bottom piece completely painted. Now, for the few GX470s out there where that paint isn't fading yet, it's only a matter of time. They do it to all of them. It's not if it's happening, it's when it's going to happen. So even if you do find a few that it's not a problem, it's going to be a problem. It's inevitable. It's just something that happens. Now, our paint process, after we base coat, we do 2 layers of clear coat. So the paint on what we did is going to now outlast the paint on the body itself. So, and I think there was a couple other things that we did. I think we ended up doing some top caps on the racks, which have a tendency to go bad as well. But while we're speaking of the outside, I'm going to now show you the rest of the paint. There's zero issues with anything whatsoever paint wise. We did our full paint correction on the items we didn't paint, and that's a series of wet sanding, compound polishing, and buffing. And because of all the work that we did to this thing, you're not gonna find a nicer GX470. That's not all that we did to the exterior. Another thing that these things are notorious for And this is, once again, this is a Toyota thing. It's not just a GX470. The wheels. We have a beautiful GX470 right there that we just got in, that's getting ready to have the wheels refinished. We refinished probably 90% of the wheels, and the ones that we don't, I talk about in the video how it's amazing that we didn't have to do it. So these wheels followed the same process. Wheels comes off of the tire, we completely sandblast it down, we prime it, we base coat it, and we clear coat it. So it's not just scuffing it and painting it with some rattle can stuff. It was painted in the same manner that the rest of the truck was painted, and the end result is, as you see, absolutely beautiful wheel. We actually went with new center caps as well. The old center caps, they get a little bit pitted, and by the time we end up doing body work on center caps and all that nonsense, it's sometimes easier to replace. That clear coat that's on that wheel is going to last a very, very long time. Going back to what I said earlier about all this trim not being a problem on some Lexuses, if we have some GXs that the wheels aren't a problem, eventually it becomes a problem. So all the sort of cosmetic flaws, if you will, have been tackled, all while being an 83,000 mile truck. So this thing, as you guys are well aware of, also check out the new rear brakes that we did, rotors and pads. We'll get into the mechanical stuff here in a moment. And to end the exterior, in addition to our paint correction, we were left with the step padding looking a little aged. So yep, we sanded that completely down. We painted that with all the automotive paint. That's black paint with a satin clear. So that's not Armor All on that. That is its natural finish. We did both sides. That's actually a footprint from me stepping on it. And look at that. So you got a footprint there. Voila. Look how nice and rich that black is. So you are looking at freshly redone wheels, all new paint on the entire bottom. That was nice tracking by the camera. All the rest of the paint was phenomenal, but we still paint corrected it. We also, just to do it, we went ahead and wet sanded the headlights. Our guys are phenomenal here at doing that. And after wet sanding them, high speed compound polish and buff, and then we seal them, not with a clear coat, but with a final seal. So your headlights are absolutely gorgeous. So truck looks like a 10,000 mile truck. It's really, really that nice. A ton of work went into it, and it was well worth doing because we try to sell the nicest trucks out there. We have no problem putting in all the time necessary to accomplish that. So mechanical upgrades or services that we did, and please make sure to check the listing because I'm sure that we did more, but I know we did rotors and pads, we did rear airbags. One of them was leaking. We don't replace one part of something if it's a multi-component system, so it's got two brand new rear airbags for the suspension. I'll double check. I'm pretty sure we did the compressor, not 100% sure. And there was a few other odds and ends that we did. Also, like I said, 83,000 miles on the truck. The timing belt, water pump, tensioner, idler pulley service was done at Lexus at 79,000 miles. So this thing is fully serviced, ready to go. Doesn't get nicer, guys. Inside, we wanted to make the inside super nice as well. The driver leather lower seat had its typical wear from the bolster, so we weren't going to do all this work and leave that, so we went ahead, and this is all work that we do here in house. Replaced and made this skin here. We have a huge interior department. We do all custom seats and headrests and headliners and carpets and all that jazz. WeatherTech floor liners. This truck, so it looks like the previous owner at one time had, if you're unfamiliar with these dashes, another as great as Toyota and Lexus are, they have their little qualms, but they're usually pretty small, and all the important stuff they're great at. But these dashes have a tendency to crack. Gosh, the one that we have over there in the background, she's cracked up too. It looks like at one point in time there were some repairs made. You can see very slight cracking that was there. But if you look at all the flat parts, there's no cracks or repairs there. The common area where it cracks is right around this line right here, around the bezel. But the good thing is it's been repaired. But if you know what you're looking at, you can see a little bit of evidence of that. So we just like to point that out. Didn't have to, but we just try to be as transparent as possible. We also service the AC system as well. Wood grain, no cracks whatsoever. Usually those crack as well on the door jam or the door panels as well. The carpets are super clean. Everything works. Power seats, heated seats. Obviously, all new air suspension works flawlessly. Non-smoker. I'm the owner of Davis Autosports. I don't smoke. I personally can't stand the smell of it. I will not buy a vehicle. I don't care how nice it's. I'll end it at that. I don't buy any vehicles that have been smoked. And what I was going to say is I've been cursed at by people. I went to go buy their vehicle and I saw burns in it, but I didn't smell it. And, but that's what it is. So. Underneath those floor mats are super clean. Rear AC controls, sunroof, headliner, super clean. Also want to point out, this truck has every single factory VIN plate on every single panel. The undercarriage on this thing is insanely clean. It really doesn't get any better than this. I got one seat up, one seat down, just so you guys can see the layout. Check out that the headliner. Insanely clean. All the vents everywhere. Third row seats look like they've never been sat in. Carpet back here looks great. Got a little bit of gouging right there. That's really sort of is what it is on that. There's a VIN plate on that guy. Take a look at the gloss on that paint right there. That's from the paint correction. Essentially what we do is we take a very fine grit sandpaper that literally almost feels like paper because it's so fine, and we wet sand it. But before we do that, we clay bar it, get all the contaminations off of it, and then we wet sand it. And very, very tedious. We knock down a very thin layer of clear coat, and then what's left is a dull layer of clear coat, but it's a new layer. It's surface new, and with multiple steps of high-speed compounds with different pads and different chemicals and different polishes, we bring it back to life, much like woodwork. If you sand wood with a low grit and work your way up, and it gets really smooth, and then sort of put a finish on it, it's sort of resembles that process a little bit. But look at that end result of that paint. And I dare you to try to find paint that shines like that on a GX470. Both keys as well. That was just that's an air freshener right there. Wood grain, perfect. Factory issue VIN plate. right, guys, so quick recap. 04, 83,000 miles at 79 timing belt water pump. That full service was done. We did rotors, pads, rear airbags at a minimum, full paint all the way around the outside, full paint on the wheels, side step, full paint correction, leather seat. Doesn't get any nicer. Now, most of our videos we do a really long drive. However, I'm sending my guys tomorrow to go pick up some fuel. I just don't want to drive this truck. It's really low on fuel, so I don't want to take the chance of driving it running out of gas. That light right there is the tire pressure monitor system. Since the wheels and tires came off, we literally just put them on and rolled it outside, so once it cycles and drives for a little bit, that light right there will come off. AC works phenomenal, but if you look at all of our other videos, you see that we drive them. I'm just not going to drive this thing with that low of gas, but it drives flawlessly. You fly in here to pick it up, it doesn't drive flawlessly. I will personally buy you a first class ticket back to wherever you flew from. On us, you got it on video. So that's it. I appreciate you guys watching. Once again, if you have any questions, 855-955-3377. I can tell you this truck is not going to last. So if you see this on eBay, that's one of the many areas we advertise. It doesn't have to sell on eBay. 95% of our vehicles sell on our website and not on eBay, so don't have to play the whole bidding game. Call us, go to our website, davisautosports.com. This will be on our homepage. You can see the price and you can give us a call and buy it. Thanks for viewing.